This is Motorsport Radio.
1, 2, 3.
Join the conversation. Contact the show on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our website. Motorsport Radio.
Weeks and Alvaro Bautista will be taken to track just 1 week after getting crowned the 2023 World Superbike Champion. MBSB, however, McCams, they're going to be returning next year with Martrain, supporting them on the technical side of things. And as well, last weekend, although there wasn't any World Superbikes, there wasn't any MotoGP out on the circuit, there was Junior GP, and Silva Menzi and Evan Belford, they raced for Vision Track together, and Silva Menzi made his Junior GP debut on the European Talent Cup machine, and they had a lack of track time due to bad winds, but yeah, still great to see British riders moving up. So yeah, plenty of news still to come, and of course the small matter of the 2024 World Superbike calendar, which was announced.
A little bit for the big bikes, but for that size machinery, it's a really good track. It was good. Two good consistent results from Eddie. Unfortunate to see Casey crash out the front group in the first race. But yeah, some really good racing. Really unlucky, even though we spoke to Sully a few weeks back. It was really unlucky for him for his, shall we say, his debut weekend in that championship, and then to be able to get no practice whatsoever because of the heavy wind they had. But I think he can hold his head high, really, to even just to come 6th place in the final qualifying race, I think they call it, or the last chance race.
Last chance.
I think that's quite an achievement, really. So yeah, I think he can hold himself high to be able to do that well with pretty much no practice whatsoever on those tyres, and his first time round Valencia, I believe. So I think he can hold his head high with a pretty good performance.
Yeah, I didn't actually realise that their last chance race, how many actually progressed to the actual...
Is it 4, I think,
race?
Isn't it?
It's 2.
2, yeah. I thought it was 4 or 5 or the top 6 or something. I'm thinking, yeah, he's got a decent chance of maybe getting into the main. But I didn't actually realise it was only just 2. Jeez. There was 30 bikes in there. Just 2.
Yeah, there was 28 bikes in the last chance race. And I mean, every single weekend they have an A and a B group for all practices and the qualifying sessions. And then in total, they have 56 bikes, I believe, trying to make the race, which is around 32 max capacity. So, yeah, there's always going to be a lot of disappointed riders. But, yeah, 2 riders to get through in the last chance race, it's always going to be a tough ask. It's a real slim chance to get through on that last chance race. And great result from Silva Menzi, as we said, 6th place finish. His first time racing at Valencia, although he did test at the start of this season on the British Talent Cup bike. So that was, of course, though, on Dunlop tyres. So, yeah, really, really great to see. And then, of course, in the main race, we still had a British rider there with Emmanuel Brinton racing. So Emmanuel Brinton, really well. He made it, but he did in qualifying. He had a good, strong result, but in the race itself, he suffered. It must have been a mechanical issue because he did retire to the pit lane during the race. So I don't actually know why that was. I haven't seen anything on social media, but he qualified 14th for the race, which is really, really good.
Yeah, it was definitely. It was good to watch. Certainly, I watched most of the day. I think I fell asleep during the or just before the second Junior GP race, so I didn't actually watch that. But I watched pretty much everything else. Yeah, and it was good. Good racing all day. It was the only racing all day, so yeah, that means it was good. So yeah. Okay, we'll probably come back to talk a bit more about that a bit later on. Back to some of the news items that you mentioned. And, what's this that Richard Cooper's Northwest 200 race win has been reinstated? I saw a bit of this on Facebook. And
it's like his bike was a millimetre too wide or something originally, weren't it? Wasn't that the reason?
It was a fairing bracket. Yeah.
So why is it taken over a year to be...
Because they've been measuring it that long.
Well, yeah, I believe originally it was something along the lines of, well, obviously the fairing bracket, but it was something along the lines of the fact that it was something to do with, they were claiming there was a modification within the frame itself, which is against the rules, and someone protested it. All's wins a lap record, the prize money was taken off him last season, and then it took 18 months for them to finally get back to him and give it his wins back. So yeah, I don't really understand why. I think if I remember right, they did somewhat apologise for it in the statement for it taking so long, for it taking 18 months for this outcome, but at least he's got his wins back, his lap records back, and his prize money as well will be reinstated. So
he's not been short of prize money this season, has he, Richard Cooper, in that BMW thing?
Well, did he... was a lot of his motivation for coming into the BMW Cup, was that because he lost all the money for that?
Probably,
basically.
yeah.
So all of the competitors who lost out on what would have been an intended a lot of money for them in the BMW Cup, you can blame the Northwest 200.
Yeah.
In theory, if that is the case.
I think a few people have been a bit peeved with the Northwest 200 rules in recent years because they banned Fei Ho's team this year, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because on their stock bike, they were running carbon fibre wheels, which you're not allowed to run in the Northwest 200, but the carbon fibre wheels are a standard wheel on that type of BMW. So you can't really... If they put normal steel wheels back on, technically that wouldn't have been a stock bike, would it? Because they modified it.
Yeah, it was... this year as well, as you said, it was quite a big deal, to be honest, because they got to the grid and then they basically got told, no, you can't race, and then they went home early. So yeah, it was a massive there from the Northwest. The rules, if I remember right, they're slightly different to the Northwest compared to all the upper road races. So whenever that happened, there was quite a lot of outcry in social media, first of all, to make the rules consistent, and second of all, have almost the same rule set across the TT, the Northwest, and, well, the Ulster, if the Ulster went ahead, but and Macau, all the road races basically to have the same rules and to talk to each other and communicate, so you're not turning up to one road race and your bike's illegal, and then the next road race, it's legal there. So and also Alistair Seeley at the Northwest, he had the steel wheels on his stock bikes, he was allowed to race.
Well, it wouldn't have been stock then, would it? Because it should have had carbon fibre wheels.
if I remember right, the reason was you can request to BMW to have steel wheels on your bike, but you have to request for it. It's not an option that you can normally go in and buy. So it was almost a grey area, which hopefully they're going to fix for next year. But in the statement for Richard Cooper's appeal, it did mention the fact that unfortunately the MCUI, which of course the governing body for Northern Ireland, failed to hold an appeal in a timely manner, and the appeal was held on the 1st of November 2023 because of this. So at least they recognise the fact that it took so long to get anything done for this.
Let us know if you have any opinions either way. To be honest, I'd completely forgotten about it because it was so long since I completely forgot it was even a thing, to be honest, till it, as I say, it popped up on my Facebook feed. I was like, oh yeah.
I think we all just assumed it was over.
Before we forget another one then, has anything happened about the Dan Linfoot Stock 1000 thing, or has that all gone?
Oh, that might be in 2026.
Has that swept under the carpet now?
No.
Give it 18 months. But no, I actually did see, though, one of the Optimum Superstock bike, Dan Linfoot's bike, up for sale on Facebook for, I think, £35,000. But it was the bike it was used at the start of the season by him. So I assume he must have used a different bike for the last half of the season. So, investigation, I assume, is still happening there until we get a statement out saying otherwise.
Well, we'll try and keep an eye on that.
See.
Yeah.
Find out in due course.
Unless we forget. But there we go. World Superbike calendar for next season has been announced, and a couple of new tracks as well announced, and one quite surprising one, the Hungary round, and it's not the Hungaro Ring. It's this new place.
Balaton Park.
Which I'd never heard of before. I just thought there was one track in Hungary where F1 goes, Hungaro Ring, And then when I knew they were going to Hungary, I was a little bit sceptical that they weren't going to Hungaroring. I was like, are you sure it's actually Hungary? Because there's only one track in Hungary that I know of, but apparently there isn't, so there you go.
Yeah. 12 rounds next year for the World Superbike calendar, starting in February, ending in the middle of October, ending in Jerez next season, unlike the Argentina, which was originally scheduled at San Juan until it was moved to Jerez. But yeah, the next season, as we said, Ballaton Park, that was a circuit which was open this season in 2023, which is probably why barely anyone's heard of it. It's where MotoGP is hoping to go in the future, but MotoGP as well, they have, I believe, well, the original statement that came out on that was that MotoGP was thinking of going to the Hungaroring before they go to the Ballaton Park. So, yeah, still some hope for the Hungaroring. And of course, two new circuits, as we said, as we mentioned, but the Ballaton Park and Cremona circuit in Italy. Now, the Cremona circuit is...
Never heard of that either, to be honest.
Yeah, it's another interesting track because, well...
What do you mean by interesting? Do you mean it's crap?
Lewis! Actually, I don't know how it is for racing because the Italian Superbikes don't even use it, which, it gives confidence. And I also did see that it doesn't look like it has any permanent grandstands at the moment, so they're going to have to build quite a lot of infrastructure around the circuit. Very few riders have actually rode the circuit, apart from some riders for Italian teams which use it for some testing now and then, but that seems all it's really used for is club racing and testing for the riders, not even Italian Superbike. So it was a massive shock for myself for World Superbikes to pick there. I was hoping personally that we'd go back to Monza, to be honest. That would be pretty good, or even Mugello. Mugello would be quite nice for World Superbikes as well, but Cremona circuit was completely left field, to say the least. Jay, I don't know about you.
Well, the only thing that's surprising, it's not really World Superbikes anymore, is it? Oh. Apart from Phillip Island,
at the start of the year,
it's all Europe, isn't it?
Go on then. Have you rant?
Have a rant.
I'm not gonna.
This rant was brought to you by Jay King, aka Pitback Sonic.
Clearly, they're doing it for costs because it is very expensive to get bikes all the way around the world. But personally, if it's World Superbikes, I do think they need to have at least one round. Obviously, Australia, brilliant. They should have one round in the Asian area, and we should have one round in America, really, as well, to kind of like even it out. But yeah, it's all in Europe, isn't it? So,
no, you've got that round in.
You've got Phillip Island. The rest is all Europe, aren't it?
The UK.
Yeah,
it's not technically in the EU.
Yeah. Well, we are. We're in Europe. We're just not part of their friends anymore, are we?
Okay. So, well,
that's good to something else.
We'll leave that there. So I think it's great to see loads of new different tracks, but I agree with Lewis. It would have been great to see. I think some of the best World Superbike races ever have come from Monza, so I think it would have been really good to see Monza back on the calendar. But a bit disappointed we haven't got some more. They should have kept Argentina there. And like World Superbikes, with the amount of bikes, with the classes we have there, why aren't we going at Laguna Seca? Come on.
Money. You know that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's World Superbikes. You go at least have one round in like Asia or Argentina.
So which round would you drop and replace with what?
Oh, is Aragon on there? Yeah, I don't like Aragon. Yeah, get rid of that. Look, and that's near the end of the season. Aragon, Aragon, that's where...
We have 3 Spanish rounds anyway.
Yeah, so Aragon can clear off. And
Aragon.
We'll put Laguna Seca there.
Well, you can't go there because they can't afford...
Oh, you're just asking me what I'm dreaming of, and that's what
I'm not saying what you're dreaming of. I'm saying what's practical. Well, I mean, everyone would just be
what could
going
you
around,
see happening?
Oh, let's get Cadwell Park, 12 round, backwards and forward. Let's go Knockhill.
Well, what the state of this track in Italy we're going to? Why aren't we going to Anglesey?
We believe
at least they'd be in Wales then, wouldn't it? It's another country then.
I understand it is a world-class facility.
It is.
And not a state.
Well, apparently this Italian track's not much better. So, so we're going to, I don't care what you lot say, we're going to Laguna Seca and a track around the Asian area. I like that one. Yeah, go with that Indian track. I quite like that MotoGP went to. I forgot
the Bud International Circuit.
We'll go Bud.
Right, so where would that go in place of?
Oh, what else? Well, it seems we've got 4 Spanish rounds. Get rid of another one.
Oh, dear.
Catalunya or Jerez.
Wow. Catalunia's always a bit crap.
Don't get rid of Jerez because, as we saw that last race of the season, that was really good. So, yeah, get rid of Catalunya.
Catalunya? So you go from Australia to India.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's not much of a journey, is it?
No, it's just hopping.
Yeah, but they're on their way home, aren't they, then? So there you go, we're done. Is Imola on there? Is that staying?
No,
yeah,
Imola's been replaced.
Well,
that's not.
No, sorry. The Emilia Romagna round has been...
They've got rid of Imola.
Yeah, Imola instead of Imola, it's Cremona.
So is it the same track?
No.
Bloody hell, well, Superbike's made a right mess the next season. They've got... It's going to be a really good season with everyone changing teams, and they've... Oh, dear. Oh, well.
Go on then, Lewis. What would you do with that? Make any changes?
Yeah, I would probably make some changes. As
you were swearing when it was all the Hungary round, and he was like, "Oh, why are they going there, idiots?"
I'm quite happy with the Hungary round. To be honest, it's somewhere new. But Cremona circuit was just a bit left field for my liking. Yeah,
how the hell did you get that? I mean, if like you say, the Italian superbikes don't even go there, it's like
I thought
just some random.
I thought of another track that I hear a lot of riders say they absolutely loved, but they don't go there anymore. I don't know why they stopped. I think Formula One went there for a little while. The Istanbul Ring in Turkey. Everyone seemed to love that. Like, if you listen to podcasts and they always say, a track you could have gone to that you don't go to anymore. They all say that track. So, yeah. And
did any bikes go there? I can't
remember. Early 2000s. Yeah, Casey Stoner's first year, 2006.
All right.
Yeah.
I think Melandri won there the year they went, I think. And Formula One went there for a few years, so it's definitely good enough for safety.
And they went back during COVID, I think.
So, it's outside Europe and it's not a million miles away. So, boom.
Yeah,
okay then, Jay, where would you put Istanbul in place of?
Let's
get rid of another Spanish track.
Get rid of Aragon. What is it there?
Yeah, that's already gone.
You've already replaced that.
Yeah, all right. If I'm not getting rid of... I like that Czech. I like Moss. That gives a good race in there. Well, Imola should be back for one
okay,
thing.
well, what would you get rid of then? So you just said you want the Turkish track.
I get rid of the French one, Manucourt.
Wow. Sorry, France. Wow.
You still have 2 Italian tracks. Well, you have 2 Italian tracks technically on the calendar.
I'd swap one of them for Monza.
Hang on, where would you put Turkey?
Or Misano?
Get rid of the 2 Italian tracks we've got now, put Imola back in and put Monza in. There, boom, sorted.
Monza? I wouldn't, no.
So where's Turkey going as well?
Yeah, where's Turkey going then? So you just completely ruined the entire calendar.
Yeah, he's replacing half of the calendar.
Kiko's ripping his hair out over this. He is really excited
and I'll make my own. No, I'll come back next week and I'll make my own World Superbike calendar. Happy? And then I'm
fine. I'm not the one with the bloody problem.
Dorna will be ringing me straight away asking, Jamie, you need to come work for us. So it'll be sorted.
Calendar planner.
Not quite.
Yeah, I'll go say round 1, Castle Park, round 2.
Ella Park, rest of the calendar. But yeah, Lewis.
Next week I'll make a calendar up for you. But yeah, okay. I don't. It's a European Championship now. It's not World Superbikes anymore.
I think
Lewis agrees with me. He's just keeping quiet.
I think they may disagree, but Lewis, I did ask you that.
Superbikes now, it's like saying it's a bit like saying British Superbikes is a European Championship now, isn't it? Because we go there once and the rest is all in England.
No, it's like saying British Superbikes is British Superbikes.
Well, don't. They go to Spain now. It's not British
Yeah,
Superbike.
but they always used to go to Europe anyway.
Can you call it a World Superbike Championship when you go out of Europe once?
Yeah. It's the World Superbike Championship.
Pathetic.
Wow.
JK,
Strong
Pitbike
words
Sonic.
from Pitbike Sonic.
So, Lewis, what would you change, if anything?
Oh, yeah, it's just all perfect. Yeah, I think Istanbul's definitely a shout, to be honest.
So, where would you change that then if you're putting Istanbul?
Probably Aragon. I don't know. I don't like Aragon circuit, but it does produce okay racing. But yeah,
What have you got against Aragon?
It's just in the middle of nowhere, and there always seems to be quite low spectator numbers. Even for MotoGP, it's not that high spectator numbers. Now, I'll replace Catalonia probably with Istanbul, but I believe the reason why San Juan was cancelled this year in Argentina was because there was some political issues going on right now, which meant that they had to cancel it. And I think the Mandalika circuit, which of course they've been to as well, that's currently facing some financial strains at the moment. So hopefully MotoGP can keep going there. But yeah, World Superbike's not going there either. So I'll probably replace... Yeah, exactly. I'll probably replace Catalonia with Istanbul. And I want to replace Cremona with something like Monza, but I want to give it a shot first because it could be great, or it could just be pretty crap. So I want to give it its time today. So we'll give it this year, right? Maybe next year, maybe 2025. Sorry, it could be a completely different story. But I'm going to give Cremona its chance in 2024 and the Balaton Park because we're going to a new country, Hungary. I'm actually really excited for that. The French rounds. I'm happy they're going to Magny-Cours rather than somewhere like Paul Ricard. I think that would be a complete headache. I always like Mazzano as well. TT Circuit Assen. Yeah, probably just at least, Catalonia with Istanbul, and I wouldn't be terribly complaining. In a perfect world, I'd probably replace Aragon as well, to be honest.
Yeah, you've replaced that twice.
It has to be. It has to be somewhere in America, I think.
Yeah, well, actually, talking about America.
Oh, go on.
Daytona. What a round of World Superbike that would be.
Yeah, they could just incorporate it with Moto America.
Actually, that might be a decent shout. Why don't they just have the Daytona, 200, and just have that as an...
200, yeah.
I mean, I think F1 used to do that about 50-odd years ago. Is just have the Indianapolis 500 as part of the calendar. It's just a single event, but it's part of the calendar, and everyone does like a wild card entry. So they could do something like that for Daytona, potentially, if they want to.
Yeah, but the only issue they face there is that they no longer even race Superbikes at Daytona anymore, because only. So we could get World Supersport there. But I forgot the name of the track, which is actually bugging me now. But there is a new track currently getting built in America at the moment. Give me like a couple of minutes, I'll try to find the name of it. I think it's
Vegas.
No, it's a purpose-built track that will go through any strips of cities. But yeah, it's halfway completed at the moment, and
oh, look, Leicester's got us
this is the Balaton Park thing. I'm just on their website at the moment, just having a quick look.
What part of America is this?
This is Balaton Park in Italy.
Oh, I thought this was a new American track we were talking about.
Hungary.
Is it Hungary? Where's Balaton Park?
Yeah.
Wait. It's in Hungary, Jay.
Hungary. Yeah.
Breaking news. News just into the newsroom here.
That looks very modern.
This is the first time I've seen this, so I'm checking it out. The facilities. Ooh. Look at all them seats that'll remain empty. No, give it a chance, guys. Don't be mean. It's got a 4-star hotel. Well, that's something. It's better than nothing. And it's got sun-kissed shores and endless explorers' stories. I mean, it looks okay, I think. It almost reminds me like Anglesey, I think. Reminds me a little bit like Anglesey.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. It's not far from Budapest. I don't know.
I might check out some flights, see if I go. Might be cheap.
Well, you just spent the last 10 minutes slagging it off.
Oh, I didn't take that off the calendar, thank you. I give all new tracks their opportunities.
You said, let's have every round at Daytona and Laguna Seca
No,
and Ella Park.
Don't listen. I said I just want one American round and one Asian round to put in there to make it a World Superbike Championship.
So how many out of Europe tracks do you think there should be?
At least 3.
So
because I understand, because you have to make it cost effective and things like that, and it is very expensive to get bikes and teams around the world, and it isn't the premier motorbike class. I understand that, but you need to be able to showcase a world championship around the world. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, well, they're going to Australia
In February, when everyone's still just finished Christmas.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Australia is upside down world, so it's like midsummer there.
It always seems to be wet and cold when World Superbikes go there for the first round.
Well, it is in February, to be fair.
So in America, there's currently a new track getting built called Flat Rock Motorsports Park, which is located in Tennessee, and it's opening up, I think, at the end of this year, very end of this year, so about now, or I think it's going to be, it got pushed back to 2024.
Are they currently building it, or is it just in the PR stage?
No, it is getting built at the moment. The tarmac's getting laid. I think it's around halfway done from pictures that I've seen anyway.
What's it called again?
And Flat Rock Motorsports Park. And I believe their aim eventually is to host the likes of IndyCar and potentially the MotoGP in the future. So we could get a new track. I would love to replace MotoGP terms. I would love to chuck out Kota, because it's my least favourite track, probably one of my least favourite tracks in the world.
Wow.
So I wouldn't mind getting another option to go
I
away
think
from Kota.
MotoGP just go there because that's the only one they can for MotoGP in America at the moment, and they have to do one American round. That's a massive market miss if they don't go to America.
Wow.
So this new track that's opening up could be, a good thing.
So this flatbed rock, what's it called?
Flat Rock Motorsports Park.
Okay, I think I found it. Yeah, I found it on the internet. So here we go. Let's have a quick little look at this. There we go, the old Flat Rock. It's just CGI renderings at the moment.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually look anything like this. So, of course, it's going to look good on the render. Oh, it's a Tilke track. No, next.
Yeah. It's a Tilke track, yes.
No, I don't care about it then. I'm literally not interested. I mean, you just spent, no. Just no. Although, since I'm on the website...
There is some real-life aerial shots on Google itself.
I'm not really that bothered on the layout. It's just that all the Tilke tracks, they look identical. And, well, if you've watched any Formula One race in the last 20 years, you'll know exactly what I mean.
But the Bud circuit was a Tilke track as well, and that produced good racing.
Yeah, but it was made for Formula One.
And you could see direct copies from other circuits.
Yeah, like all the other Tilke tracks. Here we go. There's the track configurations of this flatbed rock park. There's no way it'll end up looking like that.
That is pretty amazing layout, to be fair. It's got a bit of everything, isn't it?
That's a 5.9 mile, 10 kilometre endurance course. The Grand Prix course is basically, it's like Shanghai and India and Korea and Malaysia and all the other Tilke tracks and Kota. No, that can piss off.
It's better. I would rather go there than Kota, to be honest.
Kota is just literally a rip-off of other bits of circuits.
Yeah, I know, and that's why it's tragic. It just doesn't work for motorbikes at all. That one could potentially work a little bit better for bikes. The only part that works at Kota for motorcycles is the final sector, really. So I don't know. Another option in America would be good anyway, because I think Laguna Seca, as the years go by, there's less and less chance that we'll see any form of World Championship going there again. Because motorbike wise, all there is now is Moto America.
So what? Okay. So what? Yeah.
Yeah. Or of course, if somewhere like Road America, for example, if they could push off run-off areas and stuff, I wouldn't mind seeing World Superbikes go there.
What do you reckon, Jay?
Or an American track.
Road America always seems to be a favourite amongst people.
I've said my American decision. I still think MotoGP, because they race American superbikes around there, and obviously I know they're not the speed of world superbikes, but I think, I still think
racing is racing.
I still think world superbikes can go to Phillip Island, to Laguna Seca.
Oh.
So I'm all for Laguna Seca. Bring it back.
Interesting. Let us know your views on the comments box below, wherever you tuned in. Would you replace any particular track? Aragon seems to be a favourite that is scheduled for the bin in terms of what people want to do with it. And at least,
or could we make the calendar slightly longer? I mean, I mean, don't say that to any teams driver working there that because they might shoot me. But there's still some rounds, plenty of rounds, which have about a month break in between them, which is quite long. So I wouldn't mind having more than 12 rounds to watch anyway as a viewer.
That's a whole different.
That's a whole different kettle of fish. The kind of worms that would open.
Let's get on to as we're still stuck on World Superbikes, let's get on to the testing and how everyone did.
Oh yeah, I hear that a friend of the show, Andrea Iannone, he's ignored us so far, and none of his emails.
He's been spraying his deodorant in other riders' eyes, and they never saw how quick he went.
Okay.
I think he finished fifth, didn't he?
Yeah, I think his points, it was less than a second off anyway after day 2. So super impressive from Iannone off after 2 days back of making his racing return on the Go 11 Ducati.
Was he ever in danger of coming back and not being up towards the front? I mean, it is a bit of a sort of a PR win, I suppose, for him. And it would be the obvious thing if I was Go 11 or Iannone, I'd be like, right, let's put some super special, run it light and some amazing, let's do like a quali run straight away, boom, just to get the headlines of everyone saying, whoa, Iannone's back. So maybe there was a bit of that, I don't know.
I still think it's quite impressive for being banned for, 5 years, and to come back and be that close to the front 4 years, so...
Well,
no fanboy face and say he did bloody brilliant. I'll be bringing my Iannone flag to Donington next year. Sorry.
Well, of course.
Talking about tracks, not that I've got anything against Donington. I absolutely love Donington.
Don't start.
But I would love to see Brands back World Superbikes. Brands World Superbikes was really special.
Alternating years.
Yeah, as Leicester will go back in my day, but Brands was brilliant.
You're the one who's always whinging about the 90s, not me.
Well, I think, no, even past the 90s, up to when Brands got knocked off the World Superbike calendar, Brands was always it was like Mugello MotoGP. That was the main event of the season for the championship. So, I think bring World Superbikes back to Brands Hatch would be really, really good.
Does it even have a spectacle like in Formula One as the Monaco Grand Prix? And like you mentioned, there's always...
World Superbikes don't really have a big headline race anymore, do they?
There you go.
It used to be Brands Hatch. It did for
the British, I suppose it did, but
it was like 100,000, over 150,000 people used to go to Brands Hatch. So it was a massive event. So get Brands back. Not that I've got anything against Donington. I think Donington's a brilliant track, but Brands is just, for the atmosphere, is the next level. Like that last BSB round, the atmosphere there was really good.
Well, there were other circumstances. It wasn't just the fact that they were racing on, an iconic, legendary, world famous track.
Yeah, I understand. It was down to that there was 12 points between the last two riders.
A lot on the line.
But
it'd be good to see. I think, again, though, a bit like Laguna Seca, we're probably never going to see World Championship racing at Brands Hatch ever again.
Never say never. I mean,
it's just safety. We see even at BSB, we see bikes regularly going over fences at Brands Hatch. So I don't think World Superbikes would go back.
If they extend the runoffs.
Yeah. Problem is where they've got to extend the runoffs at Brands, you'll be going into people's back gardens, unfortunately. So, I hate to say it, but we're probably never going to see those times again. We're lucky.
I wouldn't give up on Brands. You just advocated to go to Brands.
Yeah, I know, but I'm speaking realistically now. This is a dream.
He's down to earth. He's down to earth now.
But we're very lucky. We've got the best national series in the world that BSB can go there and still give us quality racing. So.
Exactly. If they can do it, then World Superbikes can. So World Superbikes ain't much more special than BSB, and many would argue, including Stuart Higgs, that it ain't any more special than BSB.
Well, Stuart's probably trying to turn BSB into World Superbikes, isn't he?
That sounds like a good idea. Don't give him ideas, Jay.
It's happening.
Phillip Island in 2025.
Yeah, definitely.
3 rounds at Navarra. There you go.
To be fair, the World Superbikes actually next year. I've seen online on comments. This is not for myself, but I've seen online the calendar's been compared quite a lot to Eurovision now, with the fact it's European countries plus Australia, just like it is in Eurovision.
I think Turkey are now in Eurovision as well. So
I don't know, my Eurovision knowledge is not up to scale.
I'm a bit weird. I don't ever watch any of the singing or anything like that. I just watch the results at the end.
Well,
we watched
back to bikes.
Yeah, back to testing.
Yeah, back to bikes.
Ian One was awesome. How did Johnny Ray get on the Yamaha? I never looked at the results. Obviously, I looked at all the new pictures of them on their new bikes.
Well, in general, at testing, the Yamahas were very, very dominant in the test. And Remy Gardner actually topped both of the days. And Ray, I believe, was third in both of the days as well, around 4/10 off at the end of day 2. So he had a small crash in day 1, crashed on a wet patch and losing the front, but wasn't much anyway from Jonathan Ray. So, yeah, already feeling comfortable, it seems. Nicola Bulaga as well, to mention, on day 2. He finished second on his second day on a World Superbike. So Nicola Bulaga on the factory Ducati next year is one to look out for. And not to mention as well, Bradley Ray, he was out testing with the GMT 94 Yamaha team. He finished 8th in day 2 on the final day of testing. Sadly though, Rick, because I was getting my hopes up thinking, could we see Bradley Ray potentially get the GMT 94 seat next year? And then today it was announced that Philip Ortel
in the back.
Yeah, Philip Ortel is going to get that ride next year, not Bradley Ray, which means I believe there's 2 or 3 Kawasaki rides left with satellite teams and the Moto X Yamaha seat left next year, which Bradley Ray was racing with in 2023. So if he wants to stay in...
Well, let's put it this way. He's only going to... If they only do the European rounds, he's only going to...
Yeah, he's only missing 1 round. Exactly, yeah. So it isn't too bad, but...
You would have thought they could just go to their sponsors and look, just lend us a couple more quid just so we can do that round, please.
Just to go to Australia.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that's left is the Oracle Racing Kawasaki, the TPR Kawasaki, and the Penicini Kawasaki, which Tito Rabat was racing with.
Yeah, didn't he have same bikes? Because he did a lot this weekend, Tito Rabat, and he was on Johnny Ray's bikes, weren't he?
He was given a factory bike for the final round of the championship, yeah. So he'd done better anyway at the final round of Jerez. But all there is 3 satellite Ducati Kawasaki's and then 1 satellite Yamaha seat that Ray was already racing with this year. So his options are very limited if he wants to stay in World Superbikes next year. Unless
he's in Shaky's new dream team, as
BSB.
As Lester calls it.
I never said anything.
Yeah, you did. You said Shaky's new dream team.
I literally never said anything.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where Ray is going to be anyway. 8th in testing. Pretty respectable. Tyron McKenzie as well. He was testing. This was before the announcement, so I think we all kind of knew what was coming in, and we were expecting it any day now. But Tyron McKenzie, he finished last on both days. Obviously still learning the electronics for the World Superbike machine, and of course the Honda. It's not always known to be the best bike in World Superbike spec, but he set 142.1, which was about 3.5-4 seconds away from the top spot after day 2. So still some work for McKenzie, but still early days anyway for him riding that bike. And yeah,
the two Honda boys have both confirmed they're staying there next season as well, haven't they? So,
which makes the job of the Repsol Honda seat in MotoGP even more difficult. It seems
it's Digi's, isn't it? It's Digi's.
Yeah, it seems like it's Fabio Di Antonio. It was also reported as well that he was. They approached Fermin Aldeguer, who of course won the Moto2 race last time out in Thailand.
Going off topic a little bit, but I thought Pedro Acosta was absolutely going to rinse that race, and he rode awesome. He just didn't even get anywhere near him. So yeah, it rode really well that race, to be fair.
Yeah,
his teammate didn't do so well, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah. Well, we've seen some great racing anyway the last couple of weekends, and in World Superbikes itself. Of course, they were testing just 2 days after the racing had finished for the day, and in the final race of the weekend. First of all, what a way to end the season. And, well, some decent attendance anyway at Jerez. There's still some sort of an atmosphere, which made it even better to watch on the TV. And I've seen on World Superbikes, I assume Kiko made it up because it was a statistic, but 38 passes in the final race, 38 changes for the lead in the final race. So, incredible race. And,
Toprak rode so hard.
Toprak rode the bike to its limit. And sadly, he wasn't out testing at the pre-season test because he wasn't allowed to. So some disagreements anyway from Yamaha's side not allowing him to ride the BMW while he's still technically under contract. But that final race, and we'll probably speak about whenever we touch on MotoGP as well, Toprak in the final race of the year got his win taken off of him due to track limits at the final corner after an incredible race, after reclaiming the lead in the final, halfway through the final corner, and he dropped a wheel off the curb and onto the green, and he lost one position. And there's been quite a lot of talk about track limits since then.
Yeah, so he wasn't the only one to get caught out, even though I don't think, as we go back to MotoGP, Brad Binder was too bothered. I think he was kind of either win or nothing in that race. So, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah, but an amazing World Super. Really good to see Dominic Agata as well, right up with the front two,
on the podium.
All the way till the end of the race. So a really impressive third place by him, and by far and away his best World Superbike race. So, really good performance by him. Quick question, because I didn't see him in the results all weekend. What happened to Brad? I didn't see him.
So Brad wasn't racing at the final round because although it was in Europe, it wasn't planned to be in Europe. So, of course, it was maybe at Argentina, and it was changed to Jerez.
It was a pre-planned... not there.
It was pre-planned agreement with the team for them not to be there. There was talks of potentially another team taking the bike to the circuit for the Moto X racing team, but nothing ended up happening. A pre-planned agreement meant that Brad wasn't sadly on track, and that is of course why we didn't see the World Supersport 300s on track either, although we were in Europe.
Okay, that makes sense now. Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah. Warren Jackson has been on. He's tuned in at the moment. Hello, Warren. Thank you for tuning in. He's just asking about what Brad Ray was doing, and asking about him testing and stuff, and basically just wanting to know what we want to know is what's going on with Brad Ray for next year. And the answer, we don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be the Moto X Yamaha team next year in World Superbikes. I would say that's his really only option for that paddock. Stick with the same team that he's raced with all year. Or, of course, there is the rumour that's been flying about across Facebook of him coming back to BSB with Shaky Burns'
Shaky's dream team.
Yes.
Or,
so
here's another potential rumour, maybe that I'm just starting right now. If there's... absolutely is just throwing ideas around at the wall, seeing if it sticks. What about a PBM wildcard or part season or something in World Superbikes involving maybe, I don't know, Brad Ray or something, or someone. I don't know. Because if there's the demand, maybe Jordan and the team will maybe want to take PBM team back into World Superbikes or do something. I don't know. Just an idea. Just put it out there.
Done it before. They've been in World Superbikes before. I don't think they've ever been there with Decay, but they have been in World Superbikes before. So
it's not entirely out of the question. I'm thinking of the last interview that she did.
Season, but definitely in the future.
Well, as I say, could be just like a wild card, maybe at Donington or something. She did say at the end on I think the final interview that they were looking at options and maybe they want to try something a little bit different and do things in her own way, which might suggest potentially adding to some other classes other than BSB. Now, obviously, the main one would be like other support classes in BSB, but you think further out field, World Superbikes would be the next most obvious thing to dip their toe in as a team, if they can. So maybe the Shane Byrne World Superbike team PBM link isn't so far-fetched.
No, you never know. Never know. Like I said, they have been in World Superbikes before. So it's not out of the question. I can't see it happening next year. They still haven't confirmed their riders for BSB next season yet. I don't think have they. So,
I've seen rumours flying about as well about one of their riders moving manufacturers next year in BSB.
Okay. Which one? Can you tell us?
Yeah. Well, no. I've seen it online.
Is it called Bobby Tidewell?
Yeah, something along that lines. Right. Going to Honda next year, which I struggled to get my head around. But it was mentioned on World Superbike comms actually that Tommy Bridewell could potentially be going to Honda next year in BSB. So I wouldn't think that would be a good move.
Commentators do talk a lot of crap, to be fair. So yeah,
I know that, but it was a bold rumor to put out on air anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe, but obviously he's considering his options as BSB champ.
I think everyone's going to want him.
Some people will want him for sure. But it might just come down to money ultimately. Yeah. So,
well, that'll be obviously the same with PBM, because getting a World Superbike now is not getting a bike up to World Superbike spec isn't as easy necessarily as it was in the early 2000s, where we've seen it basically every single round. But we have seen some riders do it, like Peter Hickman. He's done it the past couple of years. Tyron McKenzie did it, of course, and also Luke Mossey actually had a World Superbike wildcard at Donington Park as well. So yeah, it would be PBM. You really would put them. Yeah, it would be great to see them if they could do a World Superbike wildcard, even maybe not even a full season. Of course, the last time they were there, it's probably with Kawasaki in the late 2000s with Brock Parks for PBM. So it'll be interesting to see anyway if they can find something. They're not at Macau this month actually. Neither are PBM. At least they're not on the provisional entry list as of yet. Of course, there's Glenn Irwin. He always does well at Macau. So interesting to see that they're not there yet anyway, or not on the entry list yet.
And talking about Irwin, just have to say congratulations to Andrew Irwin, who got married this week or last week, recently.
So I believe Alex Olsen did as well in Stock 1000. Came up as well.
Double congratulations then.
Yeah.
So. Sorry. Jay,
I think we're done with World Superbikes now, aren't we?
Just before we move on, Jay, my idea of potential, well, I'm not gonna claim it exactly. I'm just gonna put it out there and say that someone said on the internet, that kind of rumor starting stuff. Is it that far-fetched though? I mean,
no, definitely not. They're the most successful team in British Superbike. So if any British Superbike team was going to make the jump, whether part-time or full-time, it's going to be PBM, isn't it? And with a new, young, ambitious owner, it could happen.
We know that the other Mackenzie has stepped down from will step down
Vision
from
track,
his whatever role he was doing there.
Team leader.
Or TV commentator.
He seems to be doing more at the commentary at the race meetings, doesn't he?
I actually don't know, so I shouldn't take the piss. But I'm sure he was doing some great work there. But either way, he announced that he was moving on to do some other projects. Again, that could be, somewhere else. I don't know. Don't even know.
Could be with Shaky Burns' team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just putting out there. Just I don't know. The more you think about it, the less far fetched it becomes. If I could see probably PBM, depending on their riders, of course, and on absolutely nothing has been announced or even linked to, so we don't even know. I mean, Kawasaki, maybe, like you say, history in the past and stuff. But if they could sort out a bike or have one sorted out for them and put together a part season campaign in World Superbikes or something, you'd probably
now, like I said, with it now, as I strongly
it's a
disagree.
European Championship, so it's a bit cheaper for everyone, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It makes it a lot easier for a BSB team to move up because they're not travelling the world. Well, they have one time they've got to travel the world.
Yeah,
you can be a European-only team, though. Of course, like we've seen with Brad's Race team,
and in Tom Booth Amos's team as well.
Yeah, the Moto Gazoo Racing.
And who would be the two people who would be, let's say, media savvy, ex-former racers, and Shane Byrne already presenting Eurosport's coverage of World Superbikes, and with, I think it would. Okay, I'll
make sense.
I'll leave that.
Sticking with World Superbikes, has John McPhee signed?
Nowhere yet.
No.
Is he? I thought he'd retired or something. No, I'm joking.
It was to be fair. It was a sad end to the season. I guess a premature end to the season because of course he left his team mid-season, switched as a replacement rider at the Ducati team, and then once I forgot who it was. I think it was Ollie Bayliss he was replacing. Once Ollie Bayliss came back, then he was shoved off to the sidelines. So and that was the season finish. So he had 2 rounds less, I think, this year, as he wasn't at Jerez either. So yeah, shame for John McPhee. Hopefully he can find somewhere in a competitive machine next season anyway.
Why don't you phone him up, ask him what he's doing? I'm just presuming.
Yeah,
that
all Scottish people know each other. So
well, this is a well-known fact. You do actually know John McPhee, though, don't you?
No, I know Scott.
Oh,
I can speak to Scott. I'll speak to Scott.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So yeah. Anyway, moving on slightly from World Superbikes, just before we talk about MotoGP, I just want to mention as well. There was this line that came out from the Raceways Yamaha, or the Raceways team.
Raceways, motorcycles team, and McCam's sponsorship as well.
Yeah, basically the McCam's Yamaha, as was that team. Well, that team have not entirely sort of closed its operations, as I suggested probably they wouldn't, because why would you?
I think McCam's, as a sponsor, still wanted to be heavily involved in racing. It wasn't them who wanted to finish. It was the actual team that wanted to finish. So McCam's are going to be very happy that they've managed to find another team that no one turns down sponsorship, but they've been lucky that they're with another good Yamaha team now.
So yeah, if you've not heard, Lewis, this was just tell us in a bit more detail than from what I skimmed over in my on my Facebook feed. But they're now with Martrain. It's going to be the McCam's Martrain or Martrain McCam's or something.
Yeah, it's going to be McCams. McCams is joining Martrain anyway as a sponsor for next season in the British Superbike Championship, which of course is going to have Danny Kent on it next year, not so it's not Jack Kennedy. Yeah, the name was coming to my head there, but yeah. So a 2-year deal for McCams going to Martrain as a team sponsor, and obviously they've been with Raceway's Motorcycle. Now, Raceway's Motorcycle, although they're not going to be a team next year, they're still going to have support from members of the Raceway Motorcycle team. So Steve Rogers and the Raceway Motorcycle team are coming on board as a technical sponsor for the Martrain team. So they're still going to be somewhat involved in the paddock, and as well the technical director of the McCams Yamaha team this year, Chris Anderson, he's also going to be working with Danny Kent next year. So it's really
a strong team.
Yeah, it's going to be a really strong team. It's going to be it's basically almost two teams merged into one. I mean, it's the Martrain team with more money with the McCam sponsorship, with the
probably with some of their
equipment. It's interesting to see if they get all their lovely hospitality as well.
And where's their bikes gone as well? Where are they?
Well, it depends. I mean, they might just get McCam's bikes from this year, to be honest, as well. As almost so
technically, it could all be the same, apart from the people running the team.
Yeah, but even then, you're still going to have the Raceway Motorcycle team, which ran McCam's Yamaha, there as a technical support and as technical sponsors. So it's going to be almost the Martrain team with a mini bit of the McCam's team from this year. So yeah, really exciting times and a really strong team for next year.
Yeah, Danny Kent has landed on his feet really well, hasn't he? He's got the best. He's got a good package around him now, and at the moment, as what we know, he's a one-man band as well. It doesn't look like there's going to be two riders either. So he's got everyone around him helping him as well.
Well, yes, that's, I think, did he also have the same kind of setup in that way this year when he was riding?
Yeah. That was almost his whole, everything was his own team almost this year. Yeah. But obviously, sadly, they couldn't make it to the end of the year. So, but yeah, good times anyway for Danny Kent, a good future ahead. And we've seen what he could do at the early part of this year. So, yeah, who knows what he could do next year. He could be consistently fighting at the front realistically on that Yamaha.
Well, it's about time, to be honest. He deserves to be back up front, being
a world champion.
Still our only world champion in decades.
Yeah. Grand Prix level.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Grand Prix. So
I think that's it for BSB News. I don't think there has been any more rider confirmations.
I'm just checking my feeds to see if anything. Of course, it's not even Wednesday.
Clearly, that will all come out.
Tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be tomorrow morning. Of course, Leicester for you and on the British Talent Cup front, there has been some news in the Harris camp.
In the I forgot the name of the team. Anyway,
RS Racing.
RS Racing, sorry. RS Racing with Cavara Projects announced, or rather Ronnie Harris's family announced that he will be remaining in the RNG British Talent Cup for 2024 and joined for the first time by his younger brother Bill Harris in the British Talent Cup, which I think, to my mind, makes it the first brother pairing in the British Talent Cup.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
I think. Yeah. I can't remember off the top of my head if it was announced that Bill would be in the same team, but why wouldn't he? That would make sense. But if he's not, then he's not. Then whatever. But I'm sure for Bill Harris, younger brother to Ronnie Harris, who won his first race at the final round at Donington, much to everyone's delight, because he's a super nice kid, and he totally deserved it.
It wasn't a win, he destroyed everyone.
Yeah.
He did. He so much so we were sort of kind of getting a bit worried that he was pushing a bit too much. It was in the increasingly wet conditions at Donington and the slippery wet conditions. And basically, the title had already been wrapped up, I think, by that point. He won race 2.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a free-for-all, and then Ronnie Harris just kind of like found a load of speed from somewhere and just kept on pushing, and obviously in the sweet spot, and pulled out his first win. And I think he's been wearing that winner's Dunlop cap ever since, because he took it to Fab the following week, where he was gonna be racing. But yeah, no, that's good to hear that Rockin' Ronnie Harris is back for 2024 and probably maybe going to be the team leader if Emmanuel Brinton doesn't stay in the championship. I suspect he will, because he might not have anywhere else to go. Ooh. But anyway, more British Talent Cup news as and when it breaks, including where and what Evan Belford is going to be doing in maybe ETC. Do we know? Is it definitely confirmed? He's going to be...
Nothing's confirmed just yet.
Nothing on the socials.
Okay, I'll ask his dad. I did try and get Evan on for the show, actually, just because we had Sullivan on the last time we were on the show, and I thought, well,
2 weeks ago,
it's only fair to invite Evan on as well, but didn't reply. I think he was busy doing some homework or something. But anyway, more British Talent Cup news as and when that breaks, and
let's talk MotoGP.
Finally, MotoGP then. Go on then, Lewis. Headlines from MotoGP.
Let's start Moto3.
Oh, Moto3.
Moto3, MotoGP. First of all, before we get into what happened at Thailand, that's this weekend as well, MotoGP, they prepare themselves for the final 3 rounds of the championship after a hectic season. 3 rounds and 3 weekends starting this weekend at Malaysia, with Alvaro Bautista joining the paddock this time around as a celebration after winning the 2023 World Superbike Championship. Actually, I believe this is a gift from him winning the 2022 World Superbike Championship. And as well, Alex Rins, he's been declared unfit once again. So Iker Lecuona, he's coming in to replace Alex Rins. And now I'm really questioning if he's even going to be there at Qatar. He might just be there for the final round or even the test on the Yamaha. And as well, we'll be talking about what happened at Thailand. And an interesting report or article anyway that I read throughout the week reported on Crash.net and as well by Speedweek that the rumours or talks in the paddock is of MotoGP switching to an 850cc engine in 2027. So, some news from MotoGP anyway. And we'll cast our mind back, first of all, to Thailand, where we've seen some pretty darn good racing across all three classes.
Really?
Yeah.
Moto3 was a bit... Moto2 was a bit...
Moto2 was it, yeah.
So, let's start with Moto3 then, Jay.
Moto3, I'm trying to think that far back now. I do remember Furusato, I think that's how he pronounced his name, innit?
Yes.
Japanese rider. What a ride he was. He was so aggressive. Really amazing race. I think he landed up coming second. I did actually meet him, like I did many people. I met him at Silverstone. The most politest person I've ever met. He did his very Japanese, he bowed to me and things like that. I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't know how I've never really met a Japanese person that does this, but very softly smoking, very quiet. And it was great. Did you ask
him his favourite pasta?
No, I didn't. I think he was more of a sushi man.
Wow.
But yeah.
He might just like egg and chips. You don't know.
But he was about Tayo Furusato. What a ride. I mean, we haven't seen him that high up all season. And he was elbows out, round the outside going into that last hairpin. But yeah, a great second place. But Lewis is going to have to remind me where everyone else come because I've completely forgot.
Yeah. Well, for the race win, it was David Alonso, the Spanish Colombian rider, that won it.
And that kind of puts him back in the title race now. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, so Alonso won it. Furusato, of course, got past Masia at the final corner after Masia tried to almost run him wide. So Furusato finished second, and Colin Vire also managed to hit Masia for third as well. And actually, I do got to say, it's one of the happiest Moto3 podiums I've seen in a long, long time. Everyone was absolutely ecstatic to be there. So, really great.
It's all come back to me now because... Colin Vire, didn't he run wide like on the second corner on the last lap, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's his."
He ran wide and he tried to crack open the throttle, almost high-sided out the seat, and then somehow saved it and still managed to claim a podium.
He got Masia to the line, didn't he?
Yeah.
So.
Masia tried to dive down the inside of Sato at the final corner, almost ran Sato wide, but Sato undercut him, and then Colin Vire also got a better drive and pipped him for the podium as well. So yeah, it was a great Moto3 race. There was 13 riders in the lead group itself, which was what we want to see as well.
Sasaki crashed, didn't he?
Sasaki crashed when David Munoz's bike cut out in the middle of the race, and suddenly there was a slow bike in front of him, so he slammed into the back of Munoz's bike, and that was the end of his race, and potentially the end of Sasaki's championship charge now. Yeah, definitely. And also I think Onchu came about fifth, didn't he? He was another one who's still slightly in the total race as well. Onchu was fifth. Holgado was sixth as well, and there was a couple of surprises with Matteo Bertelli, who's currently replacing Fanati at the Snipers team. He finished in seventh, and Riccardo Rossi, it was eighth ahead of Yamanaka. So has anyone found Fanati yet? Fanati, I think, still injured somewhere. Hopefully he'll be back for the final round. But now in the championship, Masia still leads it, 230 points. And Sasaki, he's still second in the championship now, and 213 he's on. So yeah, he's going to have to still make up some ground. 17-point gap in the championship, 3 races left this season, and yeah, it's really all on Masia to see what he can do in this next round, to see how consistent he can be and to see how he handles the pressure. I didn't realise, MotoGP put a clip up, I think, from like 2017, 2018. I didn't realise how long Masia had been in that championship. Yeah. He's been in there a long while, hasn't he? Yeah, he's raced. I was watching those clips and he was racing against like Bagnaia and that. Yeah, he raced against Bagnaia, Jorge Martin. He's been in the championship for a long time. And now that he finally got the ride at the Leopard team, it looks like he could be a championship contender, and well, now he is a championship contender. To be fair, he is riding really well, because there's no really other Hondas up there in the championship, is there? So yeah, he is doing well. Leopards, as we know, are always the fastest Honda, almost no matter what. But of course, this is his second stint at the Leopard team, because he was also in it, I think, during the COVID affected year in 2020. So hopefully we can see him get a championship, and then potentially move up to Moto2. I mean, he is 23 years old at the moment. It's not old, is it? But really? It's not that old to think of getting a Moto2 ride anyway. No, so it's going to be a really, it always is good MotoGP, especially at Sepang now coming. It's once again going to be a massive group at the front with those long straights at Sepang. So it's going to be, once again, loads of slipstream. Just really close racing. So yeah, it's going to be, well, I'll say there's still about, technically, really, there's probably 5 people who still can win the championship, really, with a good chance, isn't there? Yeah, give or take. There still needs some bad luck, really. I think right now it mainly depends on Masia to see what he can do this next round at Malaysia. Yeah. If he can handle the pressure, be at the front, battle for race wins, and get on the podium, perhaps, I think Masia could have a far better chance, and we'll be having a completely different discussion next week about how many people are going to be involved. But in Moto2, at Thailand, it wasn't necessarily the super close tight battles like in Moto3, but it wasn't the win we were expecting. Yeah, it wasn't the one we were expecting, actually. It clicked in my mind as this happened somehow, because I was very sleep deprived at the time. But the Moto3 and Moto2 race winners, both of them were the same as Silverstone. Just a little fun nugget of information. But Fermin Aldegur, he won the race from Pedro Costa, and Somkiat Chantra took third as well. So the home hero on the podium. And yeah, it was great to see someone take it to Pedro Acosta, but now you really have to wonder if Pedro Acosta is now thinking about the championship, because it's realistically going to get wrapped up this weekend. Hasn't he? Yeah. So, it was good. Really big crowds at Thailand, and they were all there to see one person, really, and it was great to see him get on a podium. You could see how happy he was to get it as well. So you can see me avoiding his name, so I'll let you say the name. Because I'll butcher it. Sobcat Chantra's name.
Yeah, I'm just going to say Tantra. I'm going to have a go at the Australians because it's just it's in my head and I don't want to say it, but I'll say it. So I'm just going to say Tantra. If anyone watches the MotoPG podcast, they totally understand.
Yeah, well, heading into the 3 rounds, 63-point gap in the championship.
Yeah, he's done.
Between Pedro Acosta and Tony Arbolino. So really, if Acosta stays on the bike this weekend, you really have to say he's got one hand on the trophy.
Unless it's wet.
If not, he's got a hand on the trophy itself. Well, yeah, of course.
Unless it's wet, because Tony Arbolino will go on and win all 3 races if it's wet, because he is unbelievably good in the wet.
If it goes full distance in his...
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah, whenever Tony Arbolino's in the lead in the wet, it never goes full distance, does it?
Well, currently, I mean, I don't know how much can trust the weather forecast, to be honest. I'll check. I'll move over to Met Office. Well, Met Office is saying rain the whole weekend, and Google weather as well.
You're looking at where you live, not Sepang.
Yeah, rain and thunderstorms, according to Google weather as well for Sepang. So,
doesn't it dry up?
Rain, but it's one of those places.
Instantly.
Yeah, it's one of those places. It can go from sunshine to absolutely hammering it down to almost underwater, and then within half an hour it's dried up again. So, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting weekend anyway. It always is, weather-wise.
Like the last live stream we did, we was streaming a karting event at Rye House down near London, wherever it was, and it was kind of like that. It was like nice sunny day, and then the clouds moved in, and then it was the most rain I'd ever seen outside of an ocean. We got some amazing outtakes of karts just spinning around, and then it just dried up, and then they continued racing. It was amazing. But anyway, so
Malaysia and the UK.
So what will happen? Moving slightly away from Moto 2 for a moment.
We've got to talk about Jake Dixon's T-bone. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh well. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Right, we'll quickly talk about that.
Go on then.
That was like Jesus Christ. That was something. If there was no way of getting through there, it's like missile lock on the back of his bike, and he just went torpedoing into it. Fair play. Who was it he hit the back of? Because he did stay.
It was Vietti.
Yeah, Vietti. I don't think he even knew it. Somehow Vietti just went round the corner like he normally did, but. Yeah, he
ran slightly wide, but then Vietti actually ended up crashing that same lap. It was half a lap later, he ended up losing the front and crashing. So,
yeah, that was pretty spectacular. Third, top 3. Yeah, we know. Yeah, Moto 2, I'm done now. Yeah.
Jay Dixon, to be fair to him, it was almost one of those.
He was a bit injured, weren't he?
Yeah, it was a bit injured anyway, but it was almost one of those crashes where we see it more in MotoGP and we hear about it way more in MotoGP of riders getting sucked into corners through the slipstream and getting dragged into corners, but instead of just running wide, which is all it really was going to be. If he just sat up the bike, he's tried to still make the corner, he ended up T-boning Vietti. So, yeah, not what Jake Dixon would have wanted at all. I'm sure he had some words to say to himself this time out, but he'll be hoping for a better result in Malaysia anyway, if he makes it out on circuit anyway, because I think he did go for a hospital. I haven't seen anything just yet, as of yet anyway, but I know he
didn't crash, but surely that is a bit...
has had a hospital checkup anyway after that, so hopefully he's fit for this weekend in Malaysia.
Yeah, so... what were you going to say, Lester? You were going to mention something before we went to MotoGP, or
no? I was going to actually mention about MotoGP and Bautista, I suppose. How will he do? How will he get on?
He's going to win.
Okay. Okay. Then.
I can't tell how serious you're being here.
He's going to do a Troy Bayliss. He's going to win.
If you're serious, you'll have a bet on it and you'll put money on it. And that's how we know you're serious.
All right, I'll find the bookies. I'll put a cheeky $5 on. What bookies do MotoGP? I think
all of them.
No, not all of them do MotoGP.
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were a hardcore gambler, Lester.
Otherwise, they're not reputable bookies, and you should never go into them if they don't support motorsport. Anyway, sorry.
I don't go into bookies. Do it all on your phone these days.
Exactly. So, well, you can do... Anyway, how will Bautista do?
I You can put it on the Motorsport Media or Motorsport Radio Facebook page. I will send a screenshot of my betting slip.
Yeah, do it.
Bautista is gonna win at the weekend.
So what other? Just a straight out win. You're just going for. So that's the bet you're going to have.
Are we talking sprint win or are we talking?
Sprint's not a race, though, is it? So it's.
No, we're going to go the full race win.
Full race win on the Sunday if it doesn't get moved to Saturday.
Yeah, he's going to He's lightweight. He's got those long straights. He's just going to. Yeah,
there's other lightweight riders as well, who are also on those long straights.
He's going to do it. He's got nothing to lose. Well, and then they're going to bin off who's been doing rubbish on that Ducati all year, most of the time because he's been injured. And Bastianini, and he'll be back in MotoGP next year.
Right? Interesting opinions.
You can talk about this sort of stuff on a Tuesday, but when it comes to actually putting a bet on and then showing us on your phone, be like, right,
I will do it. I'll do it. I'll do it straight after the show.
Don't get Wendy to do it so that she's financially sort of risked herself.
Oh yeah, $5 we're going to be in trouble. I know times are hard, but I can scrape a $5 out for a bet.
All right.
What's that going to be? It's got to be at least 25 to 1, isn't it?
I don't know. I'll get back to you on that one. Okay. Lewis, same question for you. How will Bautista get on? And are you willing to put money? Well, you're too young to bet, I think.
I'm too young, so I'm going to be a bit more conservative here. I'm going to say top 10.
You'll do really well.
He's going to do quite well. I'm going to say top 10. I don't know if I'm going to put out for a win. It would be, as you said, Troy Bayliss. What was it? 2006 Valencia. Yeah. It must have been. I'm going to say top 10. I'm not going to say an outright win. I think that's very bold of yourself, though. If it does happen, I'll hold my hands up next week and admit that I was totally and utterly wrong.
I'll be jumping about. I'll make sure I get him on the show for next week if he does win.
But how exciting anyway is it, the fact that we're having the World Superbike champion? I know he was a MotoGP rider last in 2018, but how exciting is it that we're having the World Superbike champion get a MotoGP wildcard in 2023?
Yeah, Troy Bayliss, when he rode in MotoGP, he never won a race and come back for that one wild card and won. So Bautista's going to do it. He never won a MotoGP race when he did ride in MotoGP. He did get lots of podiums, like Troy Bayliss did, but he never won a race. So yeah, the stars are all going to align. Planets are going to be in the right place, and he's going to win.
To be fair to Bautista, he never had the right package, it seems, in MotoGP.
No.
Apart from whenever he 2018 at Phillip Island, when he did get that factory Ducati as a replacement rider. Yes, yeah. And then we could see his talent. But by that point, it was already too late because Penn was basically on paper for the World Superbike seat. So, it's going to be interesting to see what Bautista can do this weekend anyway, with the Indy Aruba.it colours as well, which always looks lovely.
Leicester's found the odds. I can see his eyebrows.
I can only find championship odds, and the particular race ones, they're only quoting for Bagnaia, Martin and Bezzecchi, so there's only
3 options
at the moment.
No one else can
normally they normally sort of include.
They probably start at the start of the weekend.
Yeah, like
when they've seen the rider lineups and that.
So maybe it's a bit of that, but I'll keep on checking. Carry on.
What other interesting MotoGP news? Marquez has been told that he can test the Ducati straight away.
Yeah.
That came up this week.
But he said there's no excuses now.
He's on a good bike. So.
Yeah.
And there's also rumours going about he's only got a 1-year deal and he's basically being a spy for Honda. Have you heard these rumours as well? That he's going to do a year on Ducati, find everything out, and then he's going to go back to Honda.
That doesn't quite make sense. Why?
Have you seen it, though? That's what other well-known MotoGP websites have been writing
about. Why would he do that, and why would...
Well, he's going to win a championship.
Why would the teams allow that?
All his Ducati knowledge and go back to Honda and then win on the Honda, and everyone's going to go, oh my God, Marquez is brilliant. He's winning on a Honda on a crap bike when he's turned it into a good one.
I'm sure there'll be some sort of clause in the contract to say if you do terminate your contract with us after a year, you can't go back.
Oh no,
to
there's
the
no
team.
terminate, and he's done a 1-year deal. At the end of that deal, he can go where he likes.
Well, you don't know what's in the contract. You say he can go where he likes, but part of that contract might have like a run-on bit, like a clause to say you can't, even after your employment with us or your time with us, you can't then go back to where you've just come from.
I'm only reading what these really well-known
like
websites are telling me.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to me that would happen. No sense.
Anyway, so talking about, we'll go back to MotoGP from Thailand now then. What a race. I mean, that was race of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Between, it was 100%. That was the best race of the season. Jorge Martin in the sprint race, he pretty much just cleared off. And I was kind of expecting that for the main race as well. But Binder and Pecco, they took it to him, especially Binder. I was like, I really wanted to see Binder win. He was putting everything into that. And when he did take the lead, he did pull probably half a second lead. And I thought, he's done this. But fair play to Martin. He fought back. And I think it was 2 laps from the end, got him. And then there was that brilliant move going into the last corner where Pecco thought, I think the other two both went really defensive. And then Pecco nearly got them both round the outside. So, yeah, I had to have a lie down after that race. It was that good. I was so much screaming going on. It was unbelievable. But yeah, brilliant race. Probably the best race of the season. It was also the first person with the tyre pressure rule. Spagro got caught out and got given a 3-second.
Yeah, it was the first rider to receive a penalty from it anyway. Because it was his second offence. But Jorge Martin also was one of the riders that was under the minimum tyre pressure as well. But that was his first one, so it was just a warning. Yeah, so it could get interesting.
He loses the championship because his tyre pressure is 1 PSI too low.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
God, that'd be horrendous, wouldn't it?
So, Lewis, was it, in fact, the best race of the season so far?
Yeah.
Between
that and Silverstone was really good as well.
Yeah, Silverstone was really good as well. But I think now that we have bigger championship implications on the line, now it seems to be a 2-horse race. And it's all starting just to get a little bit tense, a little bit more friction in the paddock. And it's starting to get more and more exciting. I mean, Australia, the final couple of laps were a great race as well. We're speaking about that, how much we enjoyed that race. But that only lasted a week until we headed to Thailand. And then we had an excellent race at the Chang International Circuit, where I would probably say it's Martin's ride of his career. I mean, the fact he held off Bagnaia and Binder for the whole race, didn't make really any mistakes at all. He joled it out with Brad Binder as well. And also, I don't think we've talked about it yet, Pecco Bagnaia's attempt to try and go around the outside at the final corner, it was a move and a half, to say the least.
Yeah, that last corner does throw some really good racing. Yeah. It's a bit like Jerez as well, that track, always on the last corner, you always get... It's kind of the same thing with like Brad Binder. Brad and obviously Top Rat both got caught out by the going on the green, shall we say, in both races. Binder didn't look too disappointed to drop from second to third, because I think all he really cared about was trying to win that race. I don't think he was too bothered whether he came second or third. But a brilliant race. In my opinion, I think it was the best MotoGP race of the season. Silverstone was really good, but yeah, that was epic. Phillip Island was very good, but it wasn't a race-long battle at Phillip Island.
Yeah, it was more of a...
It only got interesting on the last lap.
Yeah. Well, it was an interesting last lap, wasn't it? So, let us know what you thought. Which was the most entertaining race of the season so far?
And it's probably yet to come as well.
Well, have we already seen it? Or could it be this weekend? Could it be the final round yet to come? And what might happen? And what are the odds? And shall we make Jamie put a big juicy bet on? I can't find
British pounds.
Well, surely the final round in a few weeks, you've got to increase it. You've got to put 20 quid on.
Oh, Oh no, but this isn't the final round, is it?
It better be a great race at Valencia. And also, it better not be windy at Valencia like it was for the Junior GP.
It's never a great race. It's never great racing at Valencia, isn't it? It's always following the leader.
It's not that bad. 2021 was it? That was a decent final race.
It was a good final race. I think the championship was already run, but no, it wasn't. Pecco just had to finish. But
last year was a good race.
But between Morbidelli and Jack Miller was a really good race.
Yeah, I think that was 21.
Yeah, the COVID year, I think it was, wasn't it?
It must have been actually. So 2020. But yeah, that most recent memory that would probably be at 2018, I think it was as well. That was almost a complete washout at Valencia. It was a really, really wet race where it got red flagged, and I remember Rossi crashing on the restart. But yeah, hopefully we have some good weather for the end of November, mainly because I'm there. So yeah,
and I think the week before we're at Motorcycle Live.
Yeah,
in Birmingham. So that'll be something, I suppose.
Yeah, it should be good.
I wish I was. It's the EICMA bike show this weekend. I wish I was there this weekend. That looks phenomenal, that show. You guys need to go that. We need to get a Motorsport
media said this last year.
Trip.
Yeah, you said this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, EICMA is amazing. You need to go. You'll never want to go back to the NEC again.
Well, let's not say anything about the the incredibly organised and illustrious Motorcycle Live event where parking costs more than the tickets.
Yes.
Sort it out. I know it's not to do with the organisers. That's more than NEC being thieving bastards. But anyway, we'll be there if I can make it from wherever I'm planning on parking, which is like 3 miles away. Just walking in.
I've got a day trip in Manchester as well. The day after we come, after Motorcycle Live, I'm in Manchester for a day, and then I go to Valencia.
Oh yeah.
After that,
why are you in Manchester for a day?
Because I didn't see any point driving back up to Scotland to come all the way back down to Manchester Airport to fly to Valencia. So
do they not go to Spain from Scottish airports?
Not to Valencia anyway. Okay. Last year, whenever I went, I had to get a flight from Edinburgh to Gatwick, I think. And then I had to get a flight from Gatwick to Valencia, and then one of my flights got cancelled because EasyJet, and because of that I had I think a 12-hour layover in Gatwick. Yeah, I was in the airport overnight trying not to fall asleep and get my stuff nicked at the airport to fly to Valencia. So yeah,
I've got. It's not a trek for you. It is a lot longer trek for you, but I've actually got to go all the way to Gatwick next weekend to the airport we're going to in Spain for my...
Oh, tell us more, Jay. What are you doing next week?
I'm racing in Free Tech next week with Hudson Kenner's Championship with
Is
Will
it a
Howard.
European Championship then?
It is, yes.
Oh, I thought it was just a British Championship, Jay. It's more like a World Championship now.
With two legendary fab riders in Will Howard and Matt Lindley. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. A nice 8-hour race on a Metric kit should be lovely and comfy, like a Harley Davidson.
Yeah, well, we won't get to see any of it because none of it's live streamed.
You will, because you're going to watch my vlog on my very popular YouTube channel.
I'm sure, yeah, you'll make a video of it. But, I mean, in terms of watching the action live...
No, yeah, it won't be on. The Motorsport media will sadly not be covering it.
Oh, well.
You'll be at Motorcycle Live.
We'll be at Motorcycle Live.
Interviewing all the riders.
Interviewing some of the riders. Whoever's there. But I think we're going on the wrong weekend. Because it covers like 2 weekends.
And you're going
we're going on the main BSB weekend.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I meant. Yeah, we're going on the right weekend.
So you can ask Tommy Bridewell if he's signing for Honda.
They've cleverly spaced out their weekends where the weekend that we're going is BSB day and BSB weekend on the 19th is the main BSB day. And then they have the other day where it has the Day of Champions or whatever it is.
Yeah, the FIM
other weekend.
Champions thing where Johnny Ray and whoever loads of FIM people, a couple of people you recognise, and everyone else is just like, oh, okay. Basically.
Yeah. So spaced it out across 2 weekends.
Yeah. So, we're going on the first weekend, basically, because Lewis is...
getting sunshine, hopefully, or rain.
No, it does. The weather in Spain, because I've been keeping an eye on it, obviously, is still in the 20s.
Yeah, it's still hot.
Nice and
as
sunny.
we've seen with Junior GP at the weekend, at the same circuit, it can get pretty windy and unpredictable at this time of year, where they got 2 days of action cancelled on the track because of 65 mile per hour winds at the circuit, which is crazy to think about.
Okay, sorry, I'm just sending a message. Finding out some information.
Well,
I'm journalisting.
In the middle of a show.
When else? Probably tomorrow morning after the show.
I think we're all caught up now. I've run out now.
Well,
Don't know what else to say.
let's find out.
Oh,
if I
well,
can-
one last thing, actually, which I mentioned whenever we were just touching upon MotoGP, is the recent rumours, articles, talks in the paddock from Crash.net and Speedweeks about MotoGP potentially switching to 850cc displacement from 2027. And apparently there was a couple of manufacturers that weren't up for the idea.
No, I don't think any of them should be.
I think it was KTM and the Aprilia that were properly against it, but Pit Byra told the race that there's now a stable majority to go for that option, dropping the size down from 1,000 to 850 from 2027. And we have seen 800s in the past, in the late 2000s, and the racing was pretty rubbish. Apart from a couple of races, which you remember, like Catalonia 2009, etc., that will always stick in their memories. But the engines, they're really torquey. It's all about mid-corner speed on them, so it didn't really produce the best racing in the world. So it would be interesting to see anyway if that was the go-ahead. No.
So what would be the...
I think the only team that would be really happy for it is Honda, because I feel they need a real big rule change to put themselves back near the front. But I can't imagine... Ducati, I don't think, definitely won't want it, because obviously they've worked so hard with the bike they've got at the moment. But yeah, I think Honda would be happy to see it, because any rule change would be good for them at the moment to try and kind of start again, really.
But would MotoGP kind of change everything around just for one or a couple of manufacturers?
I hope not. I think they
it?
have to keep it at 1,000cc. But
yeah, well, I think obviously it will be down to a vote within IRTA or whatever to decide. But apparently, in the long term, it's going to be cheaper for the manufacturers than sticking with the 1000s. Obviously, it's going to be a lot of money to do the R&D and initial development, but apparently after that, it's going to be cheaper for them, which is their main reasoning behind it anyway. But we've seen...
it's MotoGP. I mean, if you want to go and save some pennies, just piss off.
Yeah, well, it would be... If they did 850cc, it would... I don't know, be a strange move whenever you think about it. World Superbikes, BSB, all the Superbike markets, I mean, they're all 1000s. So why would the premier class of motorcycle racing not be 1000s as well? Would this potentially make manufacturers produce 850cc sport bikes and we could get another championship?
You don't know if maybe this is a
Yeah, you don't know. He's been silenced already.
You don't know, mate. Yeah. It might be a way of getting the likes of BMW, maybe Kawasaki, maybe even, you never know, Triumph, maybe into MotoGP. You never know, do you? So it might be a ploy to do that. But personally, I would rather stick the way it is. But there you go. Just because I was around in the era when it was 800 racing and it made it really crap.
Yeah, crap. And a lot of high sides as well with the torquey, peaky power that they had.
So you're more into it because Formula One are changing their engine sizes every couple of years, Lester. You must know about this sort of stuff. There must have been an era in Formula One that was better than, or engines that made it really rubbish.
I don't want to say too much because I'll fall into the trap of that I always accuse you of doing and harking back to
back in my day,
saying something like that. But I will say that in general, when it comes to a world championship, my personal experience has been that less power means less enjoyment as a viewer. It's shit, basically. So don't do it.
Yeah.
And
Totally
the only
agree.
reason you would do it is to please your customers, your manufacturers, who are not actually your real customers, because your real customers, MotoGP, are the fans. Well, they're the customers of your customers, who you really should be paying attention to. Listen to me.
Yeah, keep it at 1,000, boys.
Yeah.
Unless you're telling me that other teams will get involved if you drop it, then I'll be more for it. But unless that, then nah. Keep it the way it is.
Exactly. And as well, there was, with this contract, this next 5-year contract cycle, of course, it's done between Dorna and the manufacturers. There's also talks of, first of all, aero getting reduced, which I think everyone would be
Honda
pretty
will
happy
definitely
to
be
see.
happy
Well,
with
it's
that.
starting to get a bit too much where it kind of
It's
things,
getting a bit F1-y with aero.
Yeah, I mean, if you get whacked in the face with what... Didn't someone recently... Who did... Someone...
Mark Marquez got whacked by one of the the front wheel aero got
it could knock
whacked
you
into his
out.
shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hurt him.
Yeah, if you get taken out by someone's entire rear wing, which are like F1 style now, then that could wipe you out for a couple of races. But anyway,
Yeah, well,
Talked
yeah.
about nearly
A
getting knocked
reduction
out.
of aero and a ban on ride height devices. So it would be looking a bit more like normal bikes as well then.
Talking about that, I know it wasn't a bit of aero he hit, but Sam Lowe's, Alex Lowe's, sorry, in
Yes.
World Superbikes, gave, I think it was Top Rack's rear wheel, a rather nice kiss going into the first corner, and gave himself some quite nice black eyes. I saw that he had testing pictures.
I was surprised he was out testing, to be honest, after that. His eyes were in a
That
real
was
state.
horrible to watch, that was. So,
Yeah.
But, it'd be nice. The aero does get knocked back a little bit.
a lot.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about now, we're in almost talking about what F1's been discussing for ages. Dirty air, and, well, in MotoGP's case, the main issue is the front tyre from Michelin. It's overheating, and that's meaning that riders drop back to reduce the temperature in the front tyre, and then they start attacking again. So we can't really have riders following closely behind most of the time, because this front tyre that Michelin was meant to bring years ago was delayed because of COVID. It's been delayed again until at least 2025. So if we can get something to help us out, like a reduction of aero, I think it should make the racing better. And a ban on ride height devices, it might make things cheaper as well on that front. So if folk aren't trying to constantly develop that. And if it did go to 850, it would mean there would be less than 100cc gap. Although the Triumphs are 3-cylinders, it'd be less than 100cc gap between the intermediate class and the Premier class as well, and also the talks of Moto3 changing their capacity in the next few years as well to something a bit bigger to try and almost space out the race and make it a little bit safer.
Fair enough. Well, a lot might still unravel yet, especially with, I think talk died down of potential ownership change, or a couple of weeks ago there was
shareholder
there was
stuff.
quite the talk about that, I think being fueled by just gossip mostly, and an advantageous former rider who is also interested in getting shares into something like MotoGP or Dorna or something. No, just whatever. But I think mostly that's kind of died down for the time being. So who knows? Maybe, I don't know. We don't know. We don't know anything, Jay.
There seem to be a couple. There seem to be a couple of almost explosive articles on the topic of potential share changes or ownership changes for MotoGP, and then it all just went quiet after that.
Yeah, well, talking about changes, we did, going back to what I think we started talking about originally, was the weekend's European Talent Cup and Junior GP races. I did say that we would come back to it briefly, and we did, I think, initially touch upon the the Belford Mounsey thing, because basically on the last show I think that we did a couple of weeks ago, we had Sullivan Mounsey on the show, and he exclusively revealed here, thank you Sully for doing so, he revealed on the show that he would be doing a wildcard ride at the final round of European Talent Cup, where he did out-race Evan Belford, who had one extra weekend's worth of experience, but they both didn't qualify for the final race because there was only two that made it through to the last chance break. Ridiculous. But anyway, whatever. There was also Peter Willis involved in that race as well. I'm sure he had fun.
And
Julian Correa
as well.
Yeah, Julian Correa. And but yes, I think it's fair to say that all eyes were on Emmanuel Brinton, who did make the race and did perform very well in it, in the European Talent Cup race, and also how Evan and Mounsey would get on, finding themselves as teammates all of a sudden after being at like loggerheads for a couple of seasons in the British Talent Cup. Well, anyway, I do think it would be really good if the MLAV team, if it is the MLAV Vision Track next year, if it still stays the same, but the MLAV team, I think they're onto a big winner if they keep the services next season in European Talent Cup of Evan Belford and Sullivan Mounsey. That's what I'm saying. That's my prediction. I'm putting it out there. And we did try and get Evan on the show, but he's busy with school and whatnot to talk about it. But maybe there'll be some sort of announcement perhaps next week or the week after. Who knows? Are we doing a show the week after? Or are we at Motorcycle Live? I can't remember.
We're back, I think, Monday. We're Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So
we've got to do a show next week to congratulate Alvaro on his MotoGP win.
Well, to congratulate you on losing a fight.
On my big winnings, yeah. You probably won't see me next week. I'll be on a flight to like the Bahamas or something.
Yeah, or on your way down to Tesco to get some beer. But anyway,
to drown my sorrows. Oh, we got to get up early for this weekend. Lewis, tell us the time.
He'll be getting up early.
Yeah, I'll be getting up early. A fresh tub of ice cream will also be getting ordered to stay up with for the whole evening. But yeah, it's not. Well, it depends. If you wake up for just the races from the UK, this round actually, it's not bad at all. It's probably a normal person's waking up time, unless you be like a lion. So
there's no normal sleep pattern for Leicester, is there? So.
Whoa!
No, exactly. Yeah,
I'm so
for Leicester
right now.
He might need to get some sleep. But the Friday practice, for example, that starts at 1 a.m. in the morning, and that is on all the way until 8 in the morning. As well. And for the racing, though, the stuff that most people are probably going to wake up for, not everyone's going to stay up for all the free practices. On the Saturday, free practices 20 to 1. That starts with qualifying kicking off at 10 to 3. But if you want to wake up for just the sprint race, that's at 7 a.m. And
I can do that.
On the Sunday, if you want to wake up for warm-up, like myself, that'll be at 20 to 3 in the morning, with the Moto3 race kicking off at 4 a.m, Moto2 at 5:15, and MotoGP 7 a.m. till 10 to 8. So not too bad, actually, this time around. And actually, wait, saying that, on the... Yeah.
And then we're back to normal times. Qatar's in the dark, and obviously Valencia's only an hour's difference, so lovely.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I was wrong. What? Yeah. No, I was right. Yeah. Doesn't matter. I got confused by the MotoGP website listing of times. But yeah.
Oh,
so
don't listen to them. What would they know?
7 a.m. till 10 to 8. Anyway, no, I just got confused with what time I was actually looking.
They're on Spanish time.
But yeah, it's our time, don't worry. Yeah. So not bad. Anyway, from British fans. I think Qatar's not bad. Qatar, I think, it's like 5 p.m. or something like that.
It's a night, innit?
Yeah. So Jay's having a bet that Bautista will win, an outright win in the main race.
Yeah, he won't win the sprint race. I'm not, bloody hell, I'm not an idiot.
Right?
He'll win the main race. He won't win the sprint race. Jesus Christ. What do you think he is, Superman?
Well, it's hardly an endurance race, is it? I mean, the main race, it's not that much difference.
You're asking me who's going to win the sprint race now?
No, I'm not asking that.
No.
So
Martin will win the sprint race. He loves the sprint race, does Martin?
Oh yeah, he does.
Bautista
He's won the
might
last
actually.
5.
So anyway, if there is, I've not actually found any bookies that have any things open at the moment for the weekend's MotoGP race yet. But when there is, I will direct Jay to go and put a bet on.
Put my £5 on it.
I might even have a little bet myself. But
Go for it, Lester.
I need to see the odds first. Where
do you think Bautista's going to finish, Leicester, in the main race?
My bets that I used to have was on Betfair, and you could bet against people or do the opposite. Like you could, I forgot what they called it now, but basically you could bet against a scenario happening. For example, like I bet that England would not win the European Championships, and I won some money off that, and everyone was like, "Oh, how can you bet against England?" Well, because it's England, for example. So I might do something, bet against someone. I mean, it's easier for me to say who won't win than will. So either way, I've not decided yet. But Lewis, if you were old enough and legal enough to have a bet and put a £5 on some ice cream money, who would you go for?
Love some ice cream.
I'm still going to go for Martin, to be honest, for the win in the main race. Only because last year he was leading the Grand Prix until he crashed and threw it away. So I think, I've hope in him anyway. He was leading by quite a margin, if I remember right, last year as well, until he bottled it. And then it was a battle between Bagnaia and Bastianini, actually. So
yeah, quick thing while we're talking about Bastianini. Because there has been a few rumours I've heard, if Martin does go on to win the championship, do you reckon they're going to swap him and Bautista? What do you call over?
Bastianini. It wouldn't be the worst idea in the world, to be honest, at the moment. It's a shame, though, because we know how quick he is.
Yeah.
And he really does deserve that World Superbike, that MotoGP factory ride, but he's not deserved it this year. But
Ducati don't have a lot of patience when it comes to something not going right. So
exactly. I mean, there has been a lot of factors, but at the end of the day, Martin, he was shown how upset he was of not getting that factory seat in the first place. So if he goes to win the championship and still doesn't get that seat, I don't think he might even pull off a top rack with Kawasaki where he just leaves the manufacturer. So
lands up going to Honda.
Anyway,
can you imagine it? Honda would love it, wouldn't they, though? Because you imagine he'd leave Pramac after winning the championship, and then Repsol Honda have a number 1 on the front of their bike, wouldn't they? Well, they didn't have to do anything.
We will wait and see all the big breaking news that will inevitably break tomorrow on Wednesday, as is always the case.
Jorge Martin's going to Repsol Honda.
Let's wait and see what happens. Or maybe Iannone might actually reply to my emails and messages that I've been messaging him.
Oh, I can't wait to get him on next week.
He might come on.
Jay, do you not have his number yet?
No.
Oh well.
Do you have a lot?
Well, when he goes back when he's back in MotoGP after winning the World Superbike Championship next year, I'm probably going to be having pasta with him in the hospitality at Alpine Star, aren't I?
Jay King once had pasta with Marc Marquez. Of all the questions he could have asked him, he asked him, "How's the pasta?"
I got nervous.
Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Right, that's the end of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Lewis, enjoy the weekend and your big tub of ice cream. What are you having?
It'll probably end up being honeycomb.
Wow, okay.
Oh,
and
I'm going to get some for the late night. I'll probably fall asleep eating it like I did, though, for Phillip Island.
Sounds a lot like my weekends. Thank you very much.
McDonald's are doing a M&M's McFlurry at the moment. I need to go try that.
I've not been... I only got a McDonald's, honestly, when we're doing these live streams, and I haven't been since...
We need to do a McDonald's McFlurry, rate the specials they do.
What you need to do is listen to the breakfast show where we talk about all that sort of shite. Content, quality content. Kiko Giles and myself in the morning talking about motorsport and food-related motorsport. Ooh.
McFlurries.
Tune in tomorrow morning, 6 till 9 on motorsport.radio. Stream it on your phone, listen to it as you're on your way to wherever you're going, testing, or maybe to Valencia or something. Or if you're going out to, what's that circuit you're going to in a few weeks, Jay?
Almeria.
Well,
Andalusia,
There you go.
Yeah, in Almeria. But 8 hours of racing with Will Howarth and Matt Lindley. We're going to kick ass.
Said you.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, we are with a Will Howarth bike. It probably is the best bike on the grid. But yeah.
Thank you very much for tuning in. And that's it. Check out motorsport.radio for all of Lewis's latest articles and biggest breaking news. Thank you and good night. Bye.
See you next week. Bye.
This is Motorsport Radio.
1, 2, 3.
Join the conversation. Contact the show on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our website, Motorsport Radio.